Open your ears and lube up your butthole. It's time for the What Do We Call It podcast. Now, here's your host. It's Jmann. Welcome to the What Do We Call It podcast. I'm Jmann, and it's just me, again. I was at the playground with my kids the other day, and they're running around, they're screaming, they're having a good time, and I'm just standing there with my hands in my pockets. And I notice every now and then some of the other parents are looking at me like, who's this guy? Who's he with? Wondering what's going on. When you're a parent, you're at the playground, you tend to do that shit. I do it all the time. I watch out for people. Case in point, last month, the Juice is at a birthday party for one of her kindergarten classmates. It's at a pool at a community center. And we're in there, and I'm swimming around with my kids, getting involved. And there's this dude who's looks like he's on the backside of his 50s, in these 1970s army glasses, like the Chomo specials, and he almost looks like an internet pervert that has gotten himself a membership to the Y to watch kids swim. He's not playing with any kids. He's not talking to anybody. He's just kind of sitting on a bench molded into the wall of the side of the pool, and he's looking around. Now, it took 25 minutes before I saw him interact with anybody, and I hope to Christ those 3 kids were his, but this is what you do as a parent these days. You're constantly watching for people that could be kidnapping threats, people that could be pedophiles, people that could be out to just harm kids. You never know. And that's what it's like. And likewise at the playground, I'm always watching for people to see who might try to talk to my kids. Now, very seldom does anybody get the chance as an adult to speak with my daughters because I'm always around them, I'm always watching them, I'm always very close. Even if I'm sitting on the bench, I'm no more than, say, 50 feet away. But this is the new normal in this day and age if you have kids. Pedophiles have ruined going to the playground. We're always worried that someone's going to kidnap our kids and try to kill them or sell them or fuck them. And there's this constant state of worry and paranoia. I gotta believe my parents were not even half this alarmed all the time that someone was going to try to either steal me or put something in my butt. At least not until after Jacob Wetterling got snatched up, and we all know how that ended. Runaway train never going back. When you have daughters especially, with the amount of human trafficking that goes on, and some of these people are stealing kids as young as 8 and 10 and selling them off to be drugged up and fucked left, right, and sideways. That's pretty fucking scary. I mean, you love your kids. Even if your kids are annoying, you love your kids. You don't want anything bad to happen to them. So even places where you should feel safe, like the playground, like the community pool, like indoor play places, you're just always standing there, wonder where your kids are at, scanning, wondering, sizing up other people that are standing there. It's weird. And nobody is taking the time to introduce themselves. I love when we go to the playground, if I meet other playground parents and we talk, it gives you a sense of community. It calms your nerves. Now, they might secretly just be trying to wear down my guard so that they could try to put a finger in one of my daughters, or heaven forbid me, because I'm not into that.
Make me feel good.
Yeah, so you're always worried about where you're at and what's going on. Now, I've been at, say, Toys R Us with my kids, and I'm like, I'm going 2 aisles up. Finish what you're looking at and then come meet me. And then 5 minutes later, I was on the phone with Rick James, and some lady's like, are you so-and-so? Your daughters are at the front of the store. And I'm just like, Jesus Christ, what's the rule? I never go more than 2 aisles away from you. If you wonder where I am, just say Daddy, and then we'll play a game of Marco Polo till you find me. And I have to tell them, don't panic if you don't see me and I don't answer you right away. I'm never that far away. But I guess even that's rolling the dice, being that far away from my kids. You never know when someone's going to be there to try to take them from you. And that's the worst worry you have as a parent, is somebody stealing your children. Because people steal children. It fucking happens. If they didn't, then why did Soul Asylum write that song? Last week even, we were at a different playground, and some guy's walking with this little faggy fucking dog, like a Lhasa Apso or something. And he stops to pet the dog by the playground. And I'm thinking to myself, what the fuck is this guy's angle? Is that his deal? He walks around with a puppy and then he gets kids close to him and he tries to touch them? Because that shit happens. 2 weeks ago in Blaine, there was that Kotke's bus driver that got busted for fondling two 15-year-old girls in his home. I don't know why they were there, but he got fired from his bus driver job for fondling these kids on his downtime. And they say, well, nothing happened on the job, but who's to say? Because a teacher from Blaine High School a few months back, he got busted for fondling a couple of teenage girls. Their perverts are everywhere. They're at the store. They're making sure that the lettuce is rotated so the crispest heads of lettuce are right near the front for you to grab. They're the guy that drives the school bus. Everybody that knows me knows the story the first time that the juice went on a school bus. It was just her and the driver. And I was like, what the fuck? I figured there'd be a driver and a bus aide. They're supposed to have two people to, calm your worries. Plus, it was for ECSE, Early Childhood Special Education, because she had a speech delay. So these are kids that can't really communicate to you, somebody tried to put their penis in my mouth. It's scary shit. So I followed the bus all the way to school, the 15 miles, for 20 minutes. I had shit to do, but I wasn't about to let my firstborn love of my life go off with some weird fucking old guy I didn't know and him possibly pull the bus over for a few minutes to try to touch her downstairs. So pedophiles have ruined the way that parents live. And it harkens back to my mindset that we should be fucking executing these people, not jailing them or trying to treat them. Imagine if you would go anywhere, like a carnival, and just fucking talk to everybody you see. But no, I sit there with my arms folded across my chest while my kids are on a ride, and I'm watching other parents that are watching them on the ride, and I'm like, do they have kids? I didn't see them bring a kid to this ride to get on. Drives you fucking nuts. So you're like, who the fuck is this Chinese cocksucker over there that's looking at my kids? Is he looking to get his dick wet? What the fuck? And it's frightening. And then that's just being in public with them. They're not even to the age yet where they're on the internet that much. They have tablets and they play on games and they're too young for Facebook. And the Juice has a Gmail account and she emails random people that she gets the email out of her mom's address book. Holy Christ. It's supposed to be that you can take a few minutes to enjoy your kids, but instead you never get any downtime and you're wound so fucking tight these days. Because thanks to the internet and perverts that are at parks that can find out where all the hottest play places for children these days are, they're looking to find somebody's mouth to fuck. They're looking to say, oh, I'm into soccer. Yeah, that's fucking cool. Oh, your parents are mean? Oh, that sucks. You probably just need a friend. If you didn't have to be in a constant state of alert, then why the fuck did we need the show To Catch a Predator? And then you look at the news stories and the fact we have TV shows like that, and all the reporting online of people that are into kiddie porn that you never would have thought. I mean, aside from generally priests that normally like to fuck little boys in the mouth, all these people everywhere. You would think that 75 to 80% of the world are sexual deviants that want to put their penises inside of kids. It's so fucked up. So now, rather than just bitch about it and be a part of the problem, I'm going to offer myself up as part of the solution. So, here are some tips that I have for you, culled from my experiences.
Who the is this guy?
So, right out of the gate, tip number 1. Never have kids. The best way to protect your children is to never make them. Always pull out. Make sure that if you bang a chick with a condom, when you're done, take it with you when you leave. Don't give her the opportunity to do you like that by finger banging herself with your load when she turns it inside out. Then you'll never have to worry about pedophiles or murderers or anything. Thank you. Good night. That's it. That's the show. Yeah, I'm just kidding. Tip number 1. If you're in a store with your children and they're small enough, they could say, I want to walk. No. Stick them in that fucking cart. Then they can't be grabbing shit left and right, tripping over things, getting hurt, and bumping into strangers. The Chi-Chi likes to go barreling down the main aisle at Target, and I always tell her, you're going to get blasted in the face with a shopping cart. Corral those motherfuckers into that cart and say, hey, you're not walking because you're going to get into trouble. There might be strangers, or there might be bad people that want to take you, or heaven forbid we bump into a jail dummy. Tip number 2. When you're in public in places that you're not familiar, don't use your children's real name, because you never know who could be hiding around the corner and hear the name so that they could use it the second your fucking back is turned to get your kid's attention and try to lure them away. They could always say, hey kid, come here. Or you get the guy that's always, oh, I lost my dog, can you help me find it? That whole act. And you tell them you don't go with strangers, you don't get into their car, you don't go with some guy who lost his puppy, and for damn certain you don't want any candy that's located in a man's basement down the block. So I make it a habit of we don't use real names. And I get pissed. I yell at them like, stop fucking using your real name. Stop fucking calling her name out. Now everybody knows who she is. Isn't it weird that we have to be that uptight all the time? And maybe it's a byproduct of the fact that I work in a jail. But, I mean, my kids, I wouldn't even give them my last name when they were born. That's how fucking balls to the wall about privacy that I am and trying to protect them. You best believe that if you have a nickname for them, you use it in the store. Or you say baby or pumpkin or whatever fucking cutesy nickname you have for your kids. Tip number 3. You may not be on board with this, but if you got tweens and teens, here's what you do. Kids are so stupid that they will pretty much accept almost any friend request. They don't care. They're clicking buttons so fast they don't fucking pay attention to shit. Do yourself a favor. Spend 10 minutes, create a fake Facebook account. Or a fake Instagram account or a Twitter account. Find a way to spy on your kids. It sounds really shitty that you would have to spy on your kids. You might think, I don't want to invade their privacy. I want to respect them like that. Well, maybe if you just pretend to be a kid from their school, you get a little insight into what they're into. Now, the Beast, who lives with Loverboy, he's got 3 daughters of his own with a different broad, aside from the one that they just made. Her and Loverboy had a baby back in December. Anyway, his oldest is 13 now. He's trying to figure out what she's up to because he's always working. He's never around her. They live up north a little, outside of the cities. So they're worried that she's starting to talk about sex with boys or smoking weed and partying. And it's like, you're 13. Slow the fuck down. But it wouldn't hurt to just pretend to be a kid from school or pretend to be a cute boy just to get a friend request that you almost never interact with them. Occasional liking of photos, but you can see what they're posting, what they're up to. Now, you don't have to let on that that's how you figured out what they were doing, but what seems shittier? Spending a little bit of time with some online parental black ops to find out what your kids are up to that they don't tell you about, to try to protect them, in addition to asking them what they're up to, taking an interest in what they do and who they hang out with. I'm not saying just secretly spy on your kids and then be a passive-aggressive paranoia monger. You got to use this shit in this day and age. You never know when some other fucking adult could be pretending to be a kid to talk to your children. Especially if you got daughters, because, you know, the black market for human trafficking, there's so many millions of girls that get bought, sold, screwed, tattooed, and then, you know, killed off and buried in shallow graves that we don't even know how many girls there are actively being sold into prostitution that are under 18, and they get kidnapped from their families, transported to the Americas, and they don't have anybody to look out for them because their family's a continent away across the ocean, and they don't speak English so well. All they know is somebody comes into a room, knocks them out, or shoots them up with something to get them all loosey-goosey, lays them on a dirty mattress, and lets 5 or 6 guys in rapid succession have their ways with them for a small nominal fee. Because why would you want to get a paper route or a real job bagging groceries when you could just steal some Polish girl and make her suck dicks for your money? Tip number 4, and I've done this, go have lunch with your kid at school. Maybe they're teens, they don't want you around, but you can do it one time. Volunteer at the school, and then you find out what the school's like, what the kids around there are like. Because these fucking kids don't pay attention to every adult that's around, and they'll say all kinds of messed up shit. Maybe you'll get a tip on where there's an awesome party this weekend where you can score some good cocaine. I don't know. I don't like parties because they're so crowded and loud. I also don't do cocaine, but maybe you do. But I don't know how people do cocaine. That's the Beast. Deceased father. There's a story. Yeah, go volunteer at the school. Whenever I go to eat with the Juice at her school, I get constantly bombarded with a million questions by kids that I don't want to fucking talk to, but I know who sits with my daughter now. I don't know all their names, but I ask their names. And I know that most of these kids have parents that are doing their job telling them don't talk to strangers. So they're like, oh, what's your name? And they're like, It's like, it's your fucking name. I'm not going to be like, hey, black kid, why don't you hurry up and eat your chicken nuggets because lunch is almost over. Hey, little Asian girl that plays with the juice on the playground, why do you have so many silver-capped molars? Because we go to parks and sometimes we run into her classmates and it helps to know their names. And then you talk to their parents. That is the main strategy of fighting this constant state of alarm and paranoia, is to know people. That's why you get so wound up. It's fear of the unknown. And since you think that everybody could be violent or a psychopath or a pervert, you get to know them. Now, if you're worth your salt, you can suss out who actually is a pervert and who's actually just another concerned parent that's keeping quiet and watching you watch them. It sounds very Orwellian in its nature, but hey, sometimes you gotta employ a mindset of neo-McCarthyism to try to suss out who actually is the real bad guys. Tip 5, don't give your kids phones until they're like 15. You don't need a phone. I didn't have a fucking cell phone until I was like 24. All right, if I needed to talk to somebody, or if somebody needed to talk to me, I was at my parents' house or I was with them. You couldn't get a hold of me all time of day. And yeah, I missed out on some fun social gatherings, but you know what I didn't get bothered by? Robocalls. But it kept my group of friends small enough and my whereabouts believable enough that my parents didn't think I was fucking off. And I wasn't, because I wasn't doing drugs ever. And none of my friends did. My parents took an active interest in knowing who the hell I was hanging out with, and so should you. Part of doing that is maybe not giving them a phone so that if they have to talk to somebody, they got to be on a landline, if you have one. But we all know that that's going the way of the dinosaur. Don't give them a fucking phone. I see these goddamn 6-year-olds walking around, and they have cell phones. You have a $300 phone, you're 6 years old. I have a $40 flip phone, I am almost 35. Fuck you for being on Instagram right now and looking at boobies by accident. You don't think I want to see boobies on Instagram? Of course I want to see boobies on Instagram. That's why there's Titty Tuesday. That's a thing. Google it. Tip number 6. When you're at the playground, encourage your children to say, "Hi, I'm so-and-so. What's your name? Do you want to play?" Make your kids get in the habit of finding out the names of the other kids they're playing with, because maybe it's somebody that's at the playground all the time. They make a new friend. And we have a friend that lives right behind the playground, and we go there to hang out with him and his parents. You want to know who your kids are playing with. And it boggles my mind that children will interact with somebody for 45 minutes. They'll play tag and hide and seek and not ever think to ask the other kid's name. I've been trying to beat this into the Juice's head for 4 years. Oh, that kid you were playing with, what was their name? I don't know, I didn't ask. Why the fuck not? It's ridiculous. You have to know more people. Because if you know people, that knowledge is power. That power gives you comfort. Fear of the unknown? Constant theme that crops up. That's why I'm standing there with my arms folded across my chest, sizing up every motherfucker that's there. Hoping to Christ that he's playing with some kids so I can figure out if he belongs there or not, or if he's just sitting there with a dog playing pocket pool, hoping that somebody reaches into that pocket for some candy. Tip 7's obvious because you want to teach your kids that if they're ever in danger, just to scream. And if somebody tries to grab them, to fight. Once upon a time ago, when my mom was a little kid, they were at Sears. And somebody grabbed my mom by the hand and started walking her out of the store. Well, my grandmother saw this and started screaming, so my grandfather came running and pushed the guy over. They don't know what was going on, but it was the 1950s, and people didn't just go grabbing random little kids by the hand just so they can whisk them away to imagination land. No, that day and age, you took a kid, you probably never saw it again until they found its body in a ditch somewhere, half-eaten by woodchucks. Tip 8, and I'm going to end it on this one. Do not be afraid to be confrontational. Our society has gotten so passive-aggressive. People communicate via devices instead of face-to-face. They go to their kids' tournaments, and they fucking film the whole thing, and they watch it through a phone. People go to concerts, they watch it through a phone. People go everywhere. They have to fucking tape everything. What are you doing with all this goddamn video and data? Nobody else wants to see this shit, because if they did, they'd have fucking been there. So what you need to do is if you see somebody, go up to them. I talked about this on Blumpkin and Friends. There was some guy that was at the Juice's gymnastics performance. It was the last night of her trial of gymnastics, and apparently she had a meltdown and started crying because she realized she was being filmed by like everybody. So there's this guy that the Beast notices is filming her having a crybaby meltdown as she walks to the bleachers for a hug to say, I don't want to be on camera. And he's laughing his ass off. He thinks it's funny. His wife fucking elbows him in the shoulder and says, knock it off. As soon as that motherfucker was over, I walked up to him. I'm like, hey, I don't appreciate the way that my kid has a meltdown and you use it as an opportunity to videotape her and make a spectacle out of it for your own sick amusement, you twisted fuck. So why don't you go back to the trailer park and get yourself some real hobbies? I will go up and say that shit to people because I don't really fucking care. And maybe one of these days I'm going to get shot in the face or the back of the head while I'm walking away. But I'm really not scared to go tell people how I feel. And neither should you be. It doesn't mean you need to be an aggressive asshole. It doesn't mean you need to shout at people and get into screaming matches. It doesn't mean you need to make other people feel uncomfortable or levy threats. But if you simply approach people, if you talk to them, you remove that thin veil of mystique of not knowing who they are or what they're about, it makes you feel a little more comfortable. It's a confidence builder. And that's why everybody's so scared all the time, because they don't know anybody. You don't know if you're interacting with an online bot, if you're getting catfished, if the person you're talking to or swiping with on the old Tinder is who they say they are. You never know if you're going to go meet this guy to buy DVDs off of Craigslist and he's going to stab you in the face. But if you talk to more people, if you actually get out there and experience life, you'll be more comfortable in settings with your children to look around, see everybody there, speak to them and get to know them. That birthday party at the aquatic center with the Juice, I talked to the parents, I talked to the uncles, and the uncles barely fucking spoke English. They were so goddamn Asian. But I still talked to them. A little bit of communication, a few gestures of kindness, removing that layer of the unknown will make you feel more comfortable, and hopefully it will help you better protect your children. And if you see a pervert at a park and you think you got him, don't call the cops. Find a rock and smash him in the back of the fucking skull. And if somebody goes, oh my God, you're assaulting him, I'm going to go, no, it's okay. He was watching my kid play on the slide and he was masturbating in his pocket. So kick his dog and then crack his skull with a rock. Interact with the show on Twitter at What Do We Call It? That is at What Do We Call It? You can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/group/What Do We Call It Podcast Show. For the What Do We Call It Podcast, I'm Jmann. And that's the end.